I try to make this horizontal view, but it didn't work. Let me check the sound here. This live should be pretty interesting. One, two, three, testing sound. Testing sound. All right, good. We're good. Testing sound. All right, good. We're good. Testing sound. All right, good.
No, I'm not.
Testing sound. All right, good.
No, I'm not.
Many times.
No, I'm not.
All right, very annoying. All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's live, I'm going to start it off with talking about some of your servants in representatives that have run away from their duties. They have abandoned the duties that they have signed up for and decided to betray the people on. But today's live, if you're actually getting on this, we are going to talk about what's causing homelessness in Seattle and in any city, I guess. Homelessness, and we're gonna, man, I'm in my private office here, and of course the secretary is gonna keep coming on. Let me turn that off. Quite a few of you people have commented. I don't know if it's my subscribers, I didn't see your names on there, but have commented on what can we do about homelessness, because I was talking about taxes. Here in Washington State, Bob Ferguson keeps raising taxes. Him and his goons, whatever project they feel or think that they need to do, they just think, okay, listen, so we got all this money in our budget, we got all these taxes from Washingtonians, let's go ahead and do a new project. You see, when you're using somebody else's money, it's so much easier to make projects. But what the government here in Washington State doesn't understand is we, Washingtonians, put them in office, even though I didn't vote for them. I voted for Republicans and we lost. But Washingtonian majority won. And we put them in office so that they can run the government efficiently. And they have managed to make it worse. Like they're running it through the ground. Luckily, we make enough money here in Washington State that is going to be sustainable for a while. Hi, Teleco. And so I made a point that taxes is causing a lot of hardship on people. And so I'm going to go ahead and talk on some of the points that I looked on here just so I can talk about it. But the question is legit. How can we stop homelessness and drug addiction? You know, you guys already know, and I think I shared it on my last video or the video before. I lost my brother-in-law to fentanyl, and at least that's what the police told us. And it's sad. And, you know, there's nothing we can do if people want to do drugs. There's nothing we can do to stop them. Only they can stop themselves from doing drugs. I know I don't do drugs because I don't want to do drugs. I don't like the way it made me feel. I tried them before. I don't like it. And plus, I don't like being controlled. So I've been fortunate enough to say no to drugs and stay off of drugs. Of course, we can all drink, we can smoke, we can do whatever we want. But that doesn't mean that we have to do it. All right? And that's just what I what I feel about that. I'm sure we're going to jump into some sort of immigration because, unfortunately, migration and illegal immigration has a lot to do with the economy, and we all know this. We talked about this before. What'd you say? You look like a cartoon magician. Uh, this is a typical cultural shirt from Honduras. This is the country where I was born. And so that's what I'm wearing. These are the colors that we have. These are typical colors from all the way. It's called Lencas. It's one of the Indians that we are in Honduras. But it also has the colors for the Mayan civilization, which is derived from the, what do you call that bird in English? We call them guacamayas, but I think in English is the macaws. The macaws have the red, yellow, green and blue colors and stuff like that. No, not blue, red, yellow. Man, I forgot the other. I think it's blue. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, blue. That's horrible. Anyway, enough about the shirt. So we're going to talk about homelessness. There's a problem here in Seattle, and I'm sure many cities have this. Okay, and there has been a very big multiplication of this problem. Hey, thank you for the comments. I appreciate it. Ana, hola amor, ¿qué tal? The issue with people being homeless, I said it was because of taxes, and I still believe that. I believe taxes puts a burden on people. Now, you guys already know we have taxes. We have property taxes. We have business taxes. We have sales taxes. We have taxes on everything. And the problem, at least here in Washington State, you can say whatever is happening in your state, that's fine. But I'm specifically talking about Washington State. Our gas here is $1 more than nationwide. I don't really believe nationwide because California, I believe, is probably the highest price per gallon of gas. But we don't have state tax here, thank goodness. California does. They have federal tax, they have state tax, and this is why they have to give more money to the government because of the amount of revenue that they collect. Which, by the way, if they don't do that, might as well give California back to Mexico. I'm sure Mexico will be happy to take it. We're hearing talks about Saskatchewan, Alberta, Vancouver. What's Vancouver is just a city. What is the name of the British Columbia, I think, BC? About maybe separating from Canada, and who knows, maybe they become the 51st, 52nd, and 53rd state. I wouldn't take them. We have enough crazy socialists and liberals in this country. But if we have enough conservatives on there, that'd be nice. We need more conservatives than liberals. I think liberals have lost their mind. Anyways, so I'm going to prove to you that taxes is a cause of homelessness. And if we have a government that does not take care of the people will pay the price. Okay? Now, I'm not an economist. If you think I have a master's degree on something, forget about it. Matter of fact, I think college is a waste of time. The only time that I would go to college is if I need to go for a specific sort of business or position in work or whatever I want to that needs college, then I will probably search college. But for the Matango, for the housing rising prices, I'll get there. Don't worry, I'll get to it. So I think college is a waste of time, number one. But trade schools are being more of a popular demand nowadays, and then especially with manufacturers coming back to the States. For decades, we have been losing manufacturers because of the stupid politicians that keep giving our jobs to foreign countries when they can more than afford to be able to pay the American people the rightful wages. I find it hypocritical for people that say that you don't want to pay $55,000 for an American car. Wait, you don't want to pay $55,000 for an American car, but you're willing to pay $110,000 for a German vehicle? Come on, you gotta pick your battles, right? Um, so, anyways, I am going to go ahead and tell you, homelessness. Now, I'm not a professional, but I can tell you that you and I have more sense, more common sense than the idiots that we have in government right now. Now, I'm just going to give you a little background, okay? This is something that I find here so I can read something to you, because sometimes the way that I translate my English might not come across as understanding. You can go ahead and make fun of that. That's fine. I don't mind. Here we go. The first thing I'm going to tell you is this. Uh, what do taxes do? All right. And then I found the definition in here of what it's supposed to be used for and how that works. Now, taxes fund public services and infrastructure. Of course, infrastructure. Buildings, we have roads, we got parks, we got all this stuff. Taxes, I guess, in a way, is necessary if you want to keep going up, okay? Let's see. I will get to it. Hold on to the questions about the housing, okay, and the money that we make every month. Let's see. Taxes are collected by federal, state, and local levels, fund essential public services like defense, highways, law enforcement, blah, blah, blah. We know that. Education, healthcare. And healthcare is one of those things that is being given away to people that don't deserve it or shouldn't have it because they shouldn't qualify by law. Let's see. What else do we have here? Social Security and Medicare taxes are also as payroll taxes directly fund Social Security and Medicare programs, according to the National Priorities Project, whatever the hell that means. Let's see. Number 2, shaping economic decisions and behaviors. Work and investment incentives. Taxes can affect incentives to work more or invest more. Lower marginal taxes rates on wages, for instance, might encourage people to work more. And I think, and I know that some of you are already typing stuff in there about money. Listen, I'm a family of 4. Okay, if I work by myself, I can't afford to pay anything. Okay, but if I work by myself and I make $35,000 a year, okay, $35,000 a year in a family of 4, I qualify for food stamps, which is about $800 to $1,000. I qualify for Medicaid, first free Medicare, and then I qualify for housing, of course. Low income, right? Now, when I pay my taxes as head of household, blah, blah, blah. When I do my tax returns, I get a lot more money than what I paid in taxes. So technically, at $35,000, I didn't pay any taxes. I actually got a lot of money back. Like, for example, I would have gotten almost $10,000 in tax returns if I was at an income level of $35,000 a year with a family of 4. Now, tell me that encourages me to work more. I can say, yes, I want to work more because I want to make more. I want to be able to take care of my family. I don't want to be a weight or a burden to the American people, the taxpayers. If I'm able to qualify because I'm working hard and this is the life that we have, okay, then that's what it's going to be. I'm going to work more. But what happens when I work more? I go to a different bracket. If I make $55,000, now I have to pay. Actually, I think $55,000, I think I still pay the same. The difference is I don't qualify for Medicare. I don't qualify for food stamps. And I don't qualify for housing assistance. The housing assistance, it's overbooked, and there's like a 2 to 3 years, if not longer now, for people that need it. Now, I know some of you people in here, probably not my subscribers, that I appreciate, by the way, very much. I did not expect the love that you guys have shown me. So if you stop by just to say hello, thank you so much. If there's something that you can give me as an input, I would appreciate it. Don't worry about the negative comments on there. I know a lot of people think that I'm illegal. I don't care. ICE can come over my house. I'll do some selfies. I'll make a barbecue for them. I mean, some very mean smoked salmon They will love it, and it would be a privilege for me to host ICE. I believe that they're, even though they're getting paid a little bit more now, there's a bonus for them to do their job. When I hear people saying you should be ashamed of yourself, I ask myself why. They're protecting our country. They are enforcing the law that every American, and visitors, specifically visitors, you morons out there that don't belong in this country, that don't respect Americans, should really just go back to your country and stop being a pest. Okay? Nobody likes a pest. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead and go and say, okay, I'm just going to work 2 jobs. Now, I get it. I'm going to sacrifice family time. I'm going to work 2 jobs. Now I'm going to be making $100,000 a year. Okay? That's a double shift plus overtime. I've done it before. Unfortunately, I was paying child support. By the way, I paid child support for 22 and a half years. At 50 years old, I'm so glad I ain't paying no child support. Now, this life is not going to be as long as the last one because I do have to go to the gym and I got to take my daughter to go swimming. It's a father and daughter thing. This is what we do. All right. With that being said, I get punished by sacrificing family time, by wanting to not be a burden to the state or the taxpayer Americans. I get taxed more. And not only do I get taxed more, I lose qualifications for any type of benefit. And as we all know, in a family of 4, you got to buy clothes. And that clothes, for especially when you have young ones, man, they stretch every month. They stretch. And you have to spend a lot of money to be able to support your family. So this is what I get pissed off with the government. And some people say, well, that's what the taxes are for. And this is why people are paying taxes. Listen, Donald Trump has put tariffs on the world. We're making hundreds of billions of dollars back into our country. Even during Biden's administration, the tariffs that Donald Trump put in place brought in hundreds of billions of dollars to the United States. As a matter of fact, $4.1 trillion in 2024 alone came because of tariffs. So I don't want to hear people about being negative with tariffs. Now, the deals that Donald Trump, our beautiful president, has been making throughout the world, all these tax cuts that he's making for businesses to be able to afford to have employees hired and keep them working, is helping our economy. Now, our economy, we're like the salmon. We are swimming up the stream. It's just a lot harder to swim up the stream, but we're making it. Many salmon make it up the stream, and they go through shallow waters. And this is all the obstacles that these corrupted politicians are putting in front of Donald Trump. Look what the cowards did just now from Texas. All the Democrat corrupted politicians in Texas, they flee Texas to put a freeze on some, I don't know what the hell the term is that they call it, but they're going to lose 5 seats of representatives. And they're concerned about that. And so they abandon their position, which is, I don't know if I can call that treasonous, but the American people, especially the Texan people, have put them in office to do a job, and they are reneging on it. Now, if we have tariffs here in Washington state, those tariffs will make money for Washingtonians. How is that going to work? Well, instead of saying, I got another stupid project that I'm going to make up, well, instead of taxing the American people, how about we allowed and used President Donald Trump's tariffs, because we have a port over here. There's a lot of containers that come through Seattle. I mean, the union and some of those companies that are making millions of dollars off your back, they defend Bud Ferguson. But that's because they're getting a lot of money. But you're not getting any money. I'm not getting any money. And so far, Donald Trump has been making so much money that he's even thinking and talking with the staff about, guess what? Giving you some money back. Now, if you're rich, forget about it. You don't need any help, right? I'm not hating on you, but I think you have enough money. I will not uh, put you down as to say you should pay more taxes and more taxes. No, I am against taxing. Right now, the crime has gone up in King County. So what do? They follow a fake promise from Bob Ferguson to increase police numbers to fight the criminals and keep safety into town. But what's the catch? In order for them to use any money, and this is so much bullshit, and I can't believe, I'm hoping that my Democratic brothers and sisters are listening to this, okay? Because you're being lied to by this government. I understand. You know what? You have sympathy, for migrants and all these people, and you have sympathy for gays and lesbians. Me too. Now, I don't support LGBTQ, but I do support lesbians and gays because they're not crazy. Now, there's certain levels, I think, of morality, and that I cannot go past a certain level. But the fact is that Bob Ferguson, the governor, and the whole town that they have in that little house, they are so retarded. I'm sorry, but you're being bamboozled. You think that when they say, oh, we're just going to raise 10 more cents on this, oh, it's just going to be 59 cents on this. But what you don't know is you use those 10 cents, those 59 cents over and over and over, and sometimes more than you should. And they don't care if you go broke. They don't care if you're homeless. They don't care if you have to work 3 jobs like Jamaicans. I worked 4 jobs before, and I was still barely able to make fucking rent. Excuse my language. It just pisses me off that the government takes advantage of us so much, and they don't care. Now, my wife and I, we both work, right? We're making a little bit more money. We're not paying much taxes, I don't think. But we cannot afford the rent, nor along a mortgage, especially now that they raised property taxes again, and every year is going to go even higher. Here is for those that defend illegal immigration. And one of you already said it. High demand causes high housing prices, high product prices. There's a lot of businesses out there that because they keep raising the sales tax, they have no business. Their business sales goes down. A lot of people are looking for a deal. Hey, so how much percent is the offer? How much discount are you getting me on this? How much discount am I getting on that? Nobody goes out there and says, hey, I want to pay more for this product. How much is it? $20? No. Let me give you 30. Nobody says that. Everybody is trying to make a deal. And so raising taxes, plus illegal immigration, high demand, high taxes, causes a lot of stress on families. A lot of dads and moms have to both work 2 jobs. And who takes care of the kids? Somebody else that don't care about them. Somebody else that doesn't love them. Now, you can say whatever you want. But I know how stressed I have been when I need to buy some food for the house and I just can't afford it. I know when I was a child, I used to do without food a lot. I used to starve a lot. But I don't want that for my kids. So I got to work harder. I got to be able to provide more. My wife works more. I wish one of us can stay home and that we can take care of the kids. Why is it important? Me as a man, I can discipline. I can give him some wisdom, thoughts, some, what's the word, consejos? Any of you Hispanics in there, what's the consejo? Advice. And then the mother is the nurturing one. She also disciplines. She also gives advice. But it gives advice on the woman's point of view. I give it on the men's point of view. And thank God we both have morals to try to raise good kids that will become good adults, that will become good citizens, and they're gonna go ahead and give and support whatever state they're in, but more importantly, the country where they were born, and that is our great nation of the United States of America. And I don't care about those visitors that are being disrespectful in our country. If you don't like it, get the hell out of the USA. This land is for hardworking people, people that love this nation, people that respect this people, and that are willing to make something of themselves. Now, you cannot make something of yourselves if you keep sending all your money to the country where you were born. Number one is a disrespect to the taxpayers over here, especially if you're on food stamps, especially if you're on medical, that free medical, especially if you're getting housing assistance. I hear of thousands of illegal immigrants being put in hotels. Unbelievable. In the meantime, Americans are being homeless more and more. Foreclosures. Property taxes are gone so high. For people that have a fixed income, that is a huge problem. You wonder how we get homeless. High taxes, low wages. And if you think raising wages is going to help the economy, it's the opposite. You know, I remember a time when I was in high school, and I remember our teacher say, hey, listen, this is the time where you need to pick a career. Well, it doesn't matter if you want to be a mechanic or if you want to be a doctor. This is how much this position pays. This is how much this position pays. What would you like to do the most? And they made us pick an option. And they said to us, do you want to flip burgers for the rest of your life? That was the talk that they gave us in the 90s. Because you didn't even need to graduate high school to get that job. Low IQ. You don't need to be the smartest guy to do that. Flip some burgers, turn out some alarms from the French fries, and there you go. There's your minimum wage. That helps you so that you can make some extra cash so that you can have while you're going through school. They don't let you work full time for a reason, because they want you to get educated. I started working at the age of 16. Till this day, there's a guy, his name is Anthony, works at Denny's. Whenever I go to Denny's, which is like once in a blue moon, he's there. And he always tells me, man, how are you? Big black guy. He's been there for decades. He knows me since I was 16 years old working as a dishwasher at Denny's, which was my first job. And he's always been a waiter. He's always been a waiter. He didn't want to be a manager. He's always been a waiter. And he depends on tips. And this is why I was so excited that there was no tax on tips. Now, there is some little disclaimers around that, but he will definitely benefit for the next 4 years. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about one of the things that I was talking about, sales taxes. And this has to do with purchasing decisions. Sales taxes, for example, can influence what people buy and where they choose to buy. There's small businesses that are working so hard to be able to put some products on the shelves and try to make some money. They don't become millionaires of this work, but they want to make some good money, right? And yes, sales taxes are regressive taxes, but the problem is that bills don't wait. The people get evicted from apartments. Remember, I used to work as a leasing agent for 5 years, and I saw how they raised the prices for apartments. They never upgraded anything, and they raised the rent. I'll give you the biggest example, and I know you're making me go back and forth, but I remember when I started working there, it was a 2-bedroom apartment, cost you about $775. I kid you not, $775. Within 3 months, that went up all the way to $1,300. How much of a raise do you get at work? I was getting $160 a month. And my rent went up $500? Holy smoke! What? 775 to 13. That's three. It's over $500. It's ridiculous. And so what happens? You have a lot of illegal immigrants that come in, and not just illegal immigrants, okay? People. There is a rule. 2 people per bedroom plus 1 in the living room. 10 people in 1 bedroom. They have to break the rules. It's a fire hazard. It's against the law, but they do it. And so the apartments they fill the quota, which is up to 95% occupancy. They want people to leave so that they can refurbish the apartment, so they can change carpets, so they can repaint, change appliances, things like that. And that's what happens when you have high pricing because of high demand. There is going to be a lot of people, not like you and me, but there's going to be a lot of people that maybe shouldn't be here, let's just say it that way, and they are willing to make that sacrifice. I get it. They just need a roof over their head so they can crash, and that's it. I mean, they don't plan on living here anyway, right? So what do they care? But the fact is that I saw that, and I brought that up to my manager, and they just turned a blind eye. In the meantime, people that were honest were paying the big bucks, and the property was not safe. They kept getting cars broken into. They got cars, windows busted out. The apartments were being broken into. I will find homeless people in the hallways. I mean, I even found a guy that OD'd in an apartment. I was out there, I was about to go freshen up, and there's this guy, foam everywhere, and he OD'd on something. You don't work hard to see those things on the place that you live. And so for people that say, oh, it's okay to raise taxes, it's part of life. Every year, the cost of living goes up, and I get it. But that's not how it's supposed to work. The government is not supposed to steal your money. The government is supposed to be there to make your money work more efficiently on the things that you need to get done for your family and for the future of your people. Let's see. Roku, I don't do what you do, bro. If that's what you're into, more power to you. Yes, Jesus is king, baby. Here is a tax that it influences social equity and policy. Redistribution of wealth. This is something that, interestingly enough, a lot of people don't want to work so that they can benefit from this. Which, of course, we all need it. I mean, I like to benefit from it. I'm not going to say nothing, no to money that is going to help me and my family. But here's a couple of things that you can benefit with if you are in a certain income bracket. Progressive tax systems aim to create a more equitable society by taxing higher earners a higher rate and using the revenue to fund social programs. This is very important because illegal immigrants are taking those benefits. And while there is a few out there that are hard workers and blah, 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 unfortunately, the ones that you see getting picked up on the TV, on the news, they got warrants for their arrest. They either overstay their visa, which they know is illegal. Number one, they're not supposed to be working, but they commit fraud, and they use your papers and your social security and your name and everything in order for them to be able to work. And they do that because they know that's the only way to do it. And if they don't use your information, they'll make something up. And then when somebody gets arrested, their name doesn't match any record from any country that they say. Then they go to jail, they get deported, and then people see them struggling. They see them fighting deportation. Oh my God, leave them alone. What are you doing? This is so shameful. No, it's not. They know what they're doing. Okay? And I've said it many times. You better self-deport now if you are illegal in this country. It's better for you. Jesus would not be here illegally. I'll tell you that right now. So you have the child tax credit. This is a good one. Tax credits like the child tax credit can provide financial assistance to families with children, potentially lifting some out of poverty. Well, it does. If you think about it, I give you the example. If you make $35,000 a year, you have a family of four, you're going to pay about 20, nah, maybe less, maybe $2,000 in taxes. You're going to get about $10,000 back. So not only did you make your $35,000 tax free, you're going to get about $7,000 back because you would pay some taxes. So you made about $42,000 a year. That sounds great, right? But here's the catch. You say, hey, that was pretty good. I'm going to work more hours. I'm going to get a second job. Well, guess what? That benefit just went down to the point where a lot of couples, they ask themselves, do I even need my wife to work? I pay $600 something a month for health insurance. I got to pay $800 a month in food at Costco. If I go to another store, it's even more. Think about that. And that's just on the 2 weeks. Plus you have, toilet paper, paper towels, Windex and cleaning supplies, because we don't want to live like pigs. We want to clean stuff, right? You're going to get all this other money. So I would say maybe the most that I have spent in food, oh my gosh, it was food and some cleaning supplies. I paid almost $1,200 one time. And I couldn't afford to buy more for my next paycheck, but $1,200, and it was still not enough. That's crazy. Now, mind you, paying $600 for health insurance, that's $1,800. And then you get, rent is what it is, right? But if you make more than $60,000, for example, you can get a 4-bedroom apartment for like $2,400. That's a pretty good deal, I think. I think 4 bedrooms, $2,400, I think it's worth it. But if you make more than $60,000 a year, your price now is $3,000 a month. On top of that, the managers can raise the rent even higher because of property taxes. Now, for all of you that are okay with paying property taxes, maybe you are not lacking anything in your life, but many people are. This is very stressful. It can cause a lot of depression, and I'm not making excuses for people, but believe me, I know about depression. I was suicidal at some point in my life. Been a long time now, but it's not easy. Nobody can tell you how to get out of it. You can't even get yourself out of it. You know that the door is right there, but you just can't walk through it. I don't know what it is. You're blocked. And so, what do I say? If I was a governor here in Washington State, number one, of course, I am going to respect the will of the people. But as a governor, you have to grab your whole team and be like, okay, here we go. We have a mayor here. Okay, we got the sheriffs here. We got the public school here. And then we got the city here. We got the transit. And we have all these, projects and programs that Washingtonians use. Okay, do we need more farming? Okay, we need some farming equipment. We got to put some money to work. We got to get some equipment to these people. I want my Washingtonian people to be able to afford, number one, their houses, their rent, and food. There is a big difference when a governor thinks that way. Because if a governor thinks that way, they're going to be very careful about how they use the budget. If somebody tells me that they want to use $100 million so that they can shave the hairs off your back in jail, I'm going to slap them silly. I think I'll be firing people. I'll be like, okay, how crazy are you on a scale from 1 to 100? If they hit 100, they're gone. And I know, here in Seattle, we have this person that's running. It's a guy that thinks he's a woman. He goes on a protest and just shows his breasts. And he says that he's a woman. And he says that he's protesting and on behalf of transgender. Oh my gosh. Like I said, I support gays and lesbians, but anything after that, I don't support. LGBTQ, That's a deadly combination. They got pedophiles in there. They got people that are nuts. They think that they are them. They think they have multiple people inside them. They do the whole pride parade in the nude. People's things are hanging out. I mean, you got to be very sexually immoral to be able to do the things that they do. Yes, indecent exposure. That's right, Yoshi. And and thank you don't have to tell me you're gay, but you know what? I understand. You know what I'm saying? It's like we all have. I'm in Washington State, Tim. We all have different wants, right? Different likes, different ways of thinking. I'm not going to throw my religion on you. I will say this. Jesus told us to love one another. Now, he didn't tell us to love other people's sin, right? So I still think that being gay or homosexual or whatnot, thank you, sweetheart, I'll be right there. That being homosexual is not a sin. Of course it's a sin, but at the end of the day, it's your call. It's, we all have the right to choose, right? So it doesn't stop me from being able to love you. I have a grown-up brother that he's gay. When I go there, this is weird, and you can call me gay if you want. But when I go to Honduras, I always go and visit him. And it's funny because one time I walked in and his boyfriend was there. Now, mind you, I'm not the big, tall guy, right? I'm 6'1", I weigh 285. I am trying to lose some weight and trying to change that into more muscle. But I walked in and I saw him and I said, Jose Luis, and he stood up and I grabbed him and I hugged him and I kissed him on the cheeks, twice. And, he was a big help to me when I was a kid. He's older than me, obviously. And his boyfriend, looked at me like, who the hell is this? I looked at him, I said, hey, sit down. This is my brother. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, man, calm down, man. So people can judge me for that. But you know what? That's his prerogative. He never pushes that on me. I respect him. He respects me. And that's all I can ask for. Okay? So I said that to tell you, Yoshi, that I respect you and much love to you. Hopefully everything in your life is great. Omar, how you doing, brother? I don't understand why people can't just be open and be frank about it. You don't have to like anything that I like, Maybe I'm an alcoholic and you're like, what the, Dennis, what's wrong with you, man? Why you an alcoholic? If you love me or if you respect me and we're friends, you're probably just going to feel bad for me if I'm an alcoholic, right? Because that's a disease. Thanks, Crunch. We need to be honest, I think. You know how many people make fun of my wrinkles because I'm getting old? How many people make fun of my double chin? Depends on how I put my face. They make fun of my Honduras shirt because I'm a half native Honduran. I don't care about that stuff. If people want to waste their time and life insulting others, I feel sorry for those people. But me, I'd rather love you, I'd rather respect you, and I'd rather just have that communication. I'm talking about, even the coworkers that are gay. I always ask them, hey, how's your husband? I don't believe that gay people, can be married or should be married, but he believes that. Now, I'm not going to believe on trans man. I don't support the LGBTQ, but I do support that. If that's what you believe, this is how I feel, this is what I believe, but I love you, and you're going to do whatever you're going to do in your life. They don't try to push any agenda on me. You know what I mean? They don't feel weird when I hug them, and they just, I don't know, we're just people. And, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or independent, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to tell you, even for you guys that are talking shit about me because, you want to say, ICE, come and get this Honduran guy, right? ICE, blah, blah, blah. Even you, I love. Even you, I want you to have a good life. I want you to fight for your rights. But if you're in a place illegally, it's not that I don't love you, but you got to go. And the best thing is that if you are self-deported, you have a chance to come back the legal way. And believe me, you're going to feel a lot better I can't. Let me read your comment here real quick, Yoshi. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. Uh, yeah, I know the way that you think. I know. Yeah, I just can't support the other gender thing, man. It's a physiological thing. Uh, there is a movie called Kindergarten, and I don't know how many of you actually know this movie. It's from the 80s, but there's a movie called Kindergarten, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is undercover as a teacher, and he says, "Okay, boys, I think that's how he goes. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Anybody have any questions?" And the little boy, he stands up, raises his hand, he says, "Boys have penises and girls have a vagina." Everybody starts laughing. That's all. Yes, that's it. Kindergarten Cop. You got it. The best freaking movie ever. But that's all you need to know about gender. Male, female. That's it. I can respect a gay and a lesbian. Why? Because they don't say they're a woman. A gay man just says, I have a preference, and this is what I like. Okay, I think it's gross. I'm sorry. I think it's gross because I don't like it, right? But I can respect that. A woman can say, well, I don't like guys. I just like women. Okay, I can respect that because you are still, biologically who you are. But up here, as some of you may say, you're wired different. I get it. That's fine. But when you have a penis and you say you're a woman, come on. I'm going to tell you this. There's a lot more men that are stronger than me, right? But I can tell you that I am stronger than most women by far. Even if they're out there benching the same that I'm benching, I can tell you I can beat a woman. Not that I'm a woman beater, but I'm just saying it's a big difference, okay? I'm going to tell you this for example. My wife is Samoan. She can probably beat most of you men that ever come to my chat. My daughter's 12. She can probably beat up most of you guys in arm wrestling. Samoan genes are very strong. But even though they're very strong, I still beat them. I don't let them beat me, by the way. I make my daughter understand, listen, you're not going to be daddy. Now, you can beat somebody else, and maybe you'll find somebody strong that's not going to let you beat them either. But you're not going to beat daddy. You want to beat me, you got to work harder. That's all. That's just what I feel. That's how it is. Okay? So, well, we are, so my mother she's half Spaniard. We're actually half Spaniard from my mother's side. It's the last name is Tejada, and that's where our Spaniard ancestry comes from. But from my father's side, I'm Lenca descendants, and so that's why I'm very light skinned, because of my mom. But I will tell you, there's some parts that are very brown. Like my knees, they get brown. I don't know where you guys went with that, but I'm just talking about my knees. Let's see. The job of us Christian men is to preach the word of God. We reach them through the love of God and not hate. I will say, man, you guys are making me change my subject. I'm here talking about taxes, homelessness, and drug addictions. All right. From the religious point, I believe that we are to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is how we introduce people to church. I don't go to church. They can't handle me in church. But I would visit any church, and I will respect the rules of every church. Every church has different rules. But the Christian side, when you're preaching, you are not to convince people. You are just to share. And remember this. If you are not welcome where you're preaching, turn around and go away. Change my mind. Go ahead and change my mind on that. Yeah, I'll talk about Gaza a little bit. Remind me, Jahid. So I will tell you why I said change my mind about if I go to a gay pride, which I wouldn't, because I believe, and you see it, there's a lot of, uh, Yoshi, I'm sorry, this is not meant to be offensive to you, okay? But when you're talking about, when we talk about religious things, we have to follow what the Bible says, okay? So, I mean, no disrespect, no hate. It's just what the Bible says. Uh, a big hug for you for putting up with this conversation. It's not nice. But, man, it's touchy. There is a lot of gay priests, bishops, pastors. They can be. It's not biblical. It's anti-biblical. It's God calls it an abomination. And so I know that people at the gay parade, they know the Bible. Well, they don't know the Bible, but they know of the Bible. They know about Jesus Christ. And why do I tell you that if you're not welcome, just to turn around and go away? Because Jesus went into a town. This is Jesus, the Son of God, the all-powerful. Jesus says, Jesus said that he went into a town, right? I believe it was Nazareth. I think that's what it was. And he did some miracles, and he did preach. But he said, the Bible says that he left sad because people rejected him. And he says no prophet is a prophet in his own land. And so by that example, I can tell you that when people didn't want Jesus there, he left. Now, they're the ones that miss out, obviously, right? But, you know, this is, so parts of the outfit are mixed fabrics, but this ones, they are sewn in by the machines, of course, now, but they're all sewn in. It's embroidered in. So that's what I feel about the religious part, okay? Let's see. Okay, if you ever talk about the Old Testament is a history book that you have to understand from the beginning that we are put to the test. What is the purpose in your life? To be tested. To be tested by God? He won't tempt you, but he does test. And so we are to prove our worth, our faith in him. And we have to prove in life that no matter how sick, what tribulations we go through in life, no matter how much people hate us, no matter if you go into a moment of stress or depression, or you're going through some hardships, we need to prove to God that we can get out of this. Because why? Because we have faith in him. And if we can get through it, we are fulfilling our purpose in life. This is why I didn't kill myself back in 2003. So anyways, so I'm going to jump into the drug addiction. And I know some of you, especially Christian people, or just people that have a lot of how can I say, empathy. Is that the word? I think it's empathy. When you guys see a beggar on the street, what is your first thing that you think? Not judging wise, of course, but what is the first thing that you think? What I think is, man, that's so sad. You know, you see these people up there. No, I don't listen to whatever parts of the Bible I like. But if you want to talk Bible, we can make another chat for that, because I'm running out of time. I'm taking my daughter to the gym so she can go swimming. Don't worry, we can talk about religion another time. Not many people like this subject, and like I said, the church can't handle me. And but it's a good place to be. If, like Jesus says, do what they say, but don't practice what they do, for they don't practice what they preach. I hope that makes sense. I only know it in Spanish. Addictions is a big thing. And what can cause an addiction? Stress. Why do people grab cigarettes? I smoked a lot for a long time. If I stress, I want to have a smoke, I want to relax. Other things that people do when they stress, they want to smoke weed, they want to smoke marijuana. Okay, I get it. But the problem is when you start When you start changing your stress for a brief relief, it can be cigarettes at first, and that's not strong enough after a while. And then you want marijuana, which, by the way, it makes me sick to even smell it. So I apologize if anybody smokes weed. I'm sorry, but I just can't stand that crap. But more power to you. Do it in your home. And then eventually, that weed is just not enough. Now you got to try something else. Somebody said crack it in here, right? Yeah, maybe heroin, maybe cocaine. And they just got to find a different chemical to take them out of that stress or even that depression. One of the biggest examples that I'm going to give you on addiction, and Mexicans are very popular with this, right? It's every time something is wrong. Well, actually, Mexicans is a culture. Not that everybody does, but it's a culture. Mexicans drink a lot of tequila, and they get drunk a lot. That's just the way it is. It's a native thing, I guess. It's some type of Indian thing. But if you're depressed, if you're stressed, you drink tequila. If you're in love, you celebrate with tequila. If you break up, then you drown your sorrows in tequila, right? Americans obviously have the same tradition over here. I'm not saying just Mexicans, but I'm Hispanic, and this is what we relate to, because in Honduras, we follow the same things that Mexicans follow. So it's just a big domino effect. But the fact is that causing too much stress in your life, if you're stressed just by walking outside the door to go get a job, I don't know what to tell you with that. But let's say, for example, an average Joe like me, okay, if I'm stressing out a lot, okay, eustress is good for you. Eustress helps you, hey, something's going on. What do I need to do to fix something that I need to get fixed? That's what eustress is. And then stress is the one that just drives you nuts. It kicks up your anxiety. Adrenaline starts pumping, but in the wrong time. And adrenaline can be a bad thing if you're not in the right state of mind. And so a lot of drugs do that. They kick that adrenaline in, and that's what can cause a problem. But, I just lost my train of thought on what the hell I was going to tell you guys. I keep reading your comments, man. You guys are messing me up. But if I'm stressing, I'm going to find something that I can do to find some relief on that stress. And by that, I mean work extra hours maybe, which is actually more tiring. It can cause more stress, right, if you're not getting your rest. But at least I know, Omar, I will be going to the gym here pretty soon. I have a time, so I'm okay right now. I got another few minutes. So what happens? Why do I tell you about addictions? Because number one, some of you guys actually ask me about addictions. How do we fix the problem? Well, we can't fix everything, but I can tell you this, and you guys are not going to like me for this, like I said a little bit ago. But if you give money to those homeless on the street, you are part of the problem. I know there's a lot of fakes out there, but there's a lot of homeless people out there, drug addicts, that just think about the bad life that they have. If you give them money, some of them actually make good money, $200, $300, maybe sometimes even more daily. And do you think that they go and try to save and try to get a small apartment? Well, but they probably won't be able to afford it after a while, right? They got to keep begging and begging and begging. And they're probably, they have to keep moving back and forth in streets and all this other stuff. Raising taxes on property, causing fixed income people to lose their homes. Something that maybe they inherit from their parents. That causes stress. Trying to rent a house out so that you can make enough money to rent another place, and you want to make an investment for the future of your children, it can be stressful. It's stressful because you can't charge more money, because then people can't afford it. You don't have money to go make this house better. So it puts you in a jam. Now, people like to judge Donald Trump and Republicans for doing tax cuts. So for taking things out that is not helping the American people. But the problem is, like me, I'm not a homeowner because I 30, 15, 30 years, if I'm lucky, to be a homeowner, uh, I'll lose the house. I know people that have been paying for homes 40 years and they still don't own the house. And then they miss the payments and now they're homeless. How is that even right? Once you pay your taxes on the property that you own, unless there's going to be some maintenance of the road or etc., you shouldn't have to pay property taxes. Yoshi, there's a lot of people from the UK that love Trump, and I know that you guys are also going sort of the same things that we're going through here in America. But I'm hopeful that the world's gonna see what's right from wrong. I know we're living in times where they call bad good and they cut good bad, but we can only hope that things will change for us. Let me turn up the AC on my private office here, because it's getting hot for me. All right, so I already touched on taxes, drug addictions. You will think that taxes won't affect you, but I live here in Washington State, and I don't know why I hear more and more taxes. Okay, we need more money for this, taxes, and we need money for this, taxes. And then what does Bob Ferguson do? He starts blaming Donald Trump. Democrat politicians, all they can do is Donald Trump. Be accountable for once, you cowards. Be accountable and do something for your constituents. Stop. Listen, I know that a lot of people don't like me talking about illegal immigrants, but the problem with our sanctuary cities that we have here, it's not that they protect immigrants, migrants, or even illegal migrants. It's the fact that they have neglected to vet people. They are defending criminals, and you see it over and over in the news. This guy raped this and raped that, and he's out of the loose again. And he's from Salvador. And he's from Mexico. Oh, he's wanted for murder in El Salvador. And yet he's been through jail multiple times here in Washington State. How the hell does that person walk away free? This is what illegal immigrants they're good people. They're hard workers. But this is the thing that they don't understand. That by them being here illegally, they are supporting a bad behavior that criminals, hardcore criminals, felons, use to get away with their crimes. I don't want that kind of blood in my hands. So I want to protect the border. I want to make sure the American people are safe. I want to make sure that people are prosperous. So why do I not support Bob Ferguson? He hasn't done anything to fix homelessness here. If anything, he's creating more stress to multiply the homeless issue and the drug addiction here in Washington State. Biden border crisis. I don't even have to Google it. We all know by now that Democrats, they benefit from illegal immigration. They get more seats because illegal immigrants also get counted in the census. And if you guys don't know how the census works, is if the census says that you have this many people in your city, you get this much money from the federal government so that you can take care of your people. But what do blue states do? When they need more money, they don't go raise money. They just take it out of your check. They just take it out of your business. That's what we have to deal with here. I mean, Oregon, I don't know how the taxing system works over there, but they don't pay sales tax. I'm sure they have to pay more off their income tax, from payroll taxes. I don't know how that works. Hey, Paul. So I'm going to go ahead and touch on Gaza a little bit because somebody mentioned it in here. I believe Gaza belongs to Israel. It should have never been given to the Palestinians. Why do I say that? Because Palestinians are no good? No, I believe Palestinians are good people. But they should be part of Israel. They just need to stop with this antifada. They need to stop with these religious wars. I watched a video of this tourist that was saying all these bad things about Israel, but what I'm watching on the video that he's showing is the opposite of what he says. Like, for example, I think it's on the way from the Palestine Gaza. We all are we're all guilty of sin. This is why we need Jesus Christ. But coming from the Palestine area into Israel, there is all these things that they have to go through. Cameras and inspections and this and that. It reminds me of the United States and the Mexican border. Okay? So every time that you come from Mexico, you got to get double checked. There's contraband. There's drugs being put through. There's a lot of things that are not supposed to be going through. It's the same shit that happens in Israel. Whenever you come from Gaza, you got to get all these checks and cameras are watching you and this and that. But when you go from Israel to the Palestinian area, they got nothing. It's just clear. You know why? Why do you think? It's very simple. Because they come from that side into Israel, bombing things, destroying, killing people. And that's why they got to get checked. But what happens when Israelites or people go from Israel to the Palestinian territory? Nothing. That's why it's easier for them to go there. So what happens when we go from Honduras? What happens when we go from the United States to Mexico? Right through. Why? We're bringing dollars. We're bringing business. We are not there to steal their jobs. We are not there, hopefully, we're not there to do any criminal activities. There is some. Matter of fact, a lot of the cartel personnel have been Americans involved. I don't appreciate that. That's the scum and the garbage that we need to get rid of. So if you're coming from Mexico, same thing. You got to be checked, double checked. People being contraband all the time. All the time. A lot of migrants, they are all not bad. They're actually good for business. You know what? I believe you, and I want to say even more good things about migrants, even illegal migrants. But what we have seen lately, I want to point out a couple of things. One of them is the excuse that Democrats use. Oh my God, I'm going to give you three. The excuse that Democrats give so that they can have illegal immigrants, so that they can have more seats in the House, okay? I'm going to give you one. I guess that's one. The second one is they want to pay slave laborers money. They want to pay low pay for illegal immigrants. Remember, Democrats is the party of the slaves. They did not want to free the slaves. It was the Republicans. Abraham Lincoln. Remember, more white men died to free the black slaves than black slaves died to free their own people. Unfortunately, we see black on black crime is way harder than any other thing that I ever seen in my life, but only here in the States. The other thing is, what was the other thing? I forgot the last thing. But the thing is that there's a lot of reasons why they defend them, and it's not because it's a benefit to everybody. We have 21 million. Actually, it's a lot less, because the last time I heard, the number was almost 2 million people self-deported, which I'm proud of them. Those people will have a chance to come back to the States once all the illegal immigrants get out of here. Why do I say this, guys? And I'm going to put this out there for you. We are getting a lot of manufacturing jobs coming back. I'm telling you right now, support Donald Trump. Don't listen to the negative people about tariffs. Our economy is doing so great right now, and Democrats hate it. but you know the difference. You see the changes, and I'm not blaming the Democrat patriots. Okay, it's the right now the Democratic Party is the corrupted party. They're not in a good place. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. And and I don't want you to be a Republican, but I want you to look what's best for your country. Look at Schumer. Chuck Schumer just went not too long ago saying, "Oh, Donald Trump is using $200 million to build a ballroom. Where does he get this money? We certainly didn't approve it." And then Donald Trump, press secretary, says, "Well, the $200 million comes from Donald Trump and his donators." So there you go. So he's got friends that are going to raise $200 million to pay for the ballroom. That's awesome. And you guys remember how much are Democrats paying Donald Trump for being president? Zero. Zilch. Zero. Nada. Zero. You're not paying anything for him to serve you. Imagine having a servant that you don't have to pay for. That's Donald Trump. Hate the orange man. Hate the taco. But you're not paying him. You're not paying him. So what happens, guys? Prices are going to go up because they need to go up. You want to be fair to the American worker. And those migrants that come here the legal way and get papers to work here legally should get a fair wage. They should not be used for cheap labor. This ain't China. This is the land of opportunity. This is where dreams come true. But not with government like Washington State's and California and Oregon and New York's bullshit blue states. That is how you keep the people down. Tell me if you agree with me 100% on this. If you work more, you pay more and get less. Just saying, right? All right, we're going to go ahead and touch on your Epstein list. We talked about this a few times. You can be in a list of guests for a hotel. Now, you didn't do anything in this hotel room, but other guests in that hotel did some nasty, shady stuff. What does it mean if my name is on the list? It doesn't mean jack squat. I have had friends that were killed in gangs. Doesn't mean that I was a gangbanger. They chose that life. We were still friends, but I didn't know that that was the life that they were going to choose. So there's that. Authoritarian playbook number 1. Consolidate power and change the rules so nobody can take it away. I'm going to say most Americans put President Donald Trump in office, including Democrats, because they were tired of the bullshit that the Democrat corrupted politicians were feeding us American people. And I'm glad that there's a lot of Democrats out there that are still patriots to this nation, because they are the ones that are making us move ahead to be a stronger nation, to stay free, number 1. And look what's happening in Canada right now. Oh my gosh, the knowledge that comes to you when you seek it. I just told you guys a few months ago that the same playbook rules that they use in China, in Russia, they used in Venezuela, and they used it in Canada. Look what is happening right now in Canada. Alberta was the first rumor that I heard. Now remember that when Donald Trump said that we are going to be the Canada was going to be the 51st state. I think I'm running out of battery on my headphones. That we were going to be the 51st state, Canadian 51st state in the United States. Nobody wants it. No, hell no, we're not doing that, blah, blah, blah. They doubled down. They put Carney in office. He's a socialist, communist as well. And they put him in office. And what happens? This is what Donald Trump says. Hey, listen, Canadians, you guys are our allies, your friends, your neighbors. We love you guys. I have a lot of people, I have a lot of friends in Canada, but you guys are screwing us over. We need to make good deals and we need to be fair. So we're going to give you a tariff of this much because you guys have been letting a lot of fentanyl come through the border. And as a matter of fact, a lot more fentanyl comes from Canada than it does from Mexico now. And so Donald Trump puts tariffs on them, and he said, oh, you know what, I'm going to go on the news, and I'm going to tell the Canadian people, I'm going to tell Donald Trump to suck it. He goes to the White House, and Donald Trump says, oh, you know, maybe Canada can be the 51st state. Oh, no, that's not the question. That's not going to happen. So what happens with this socialist communist? Same thing that happened in Venezuela. He is in Ottawa, I believe. I'm not Canadian, so forgive me if I'm in the wrong province. He's in Ottawa, and he's stopping his other people like Alberta, Saskatchewan, Vancouver, British Columbia. I think that's the actual province. He's stopping them from being successful, from prospering, from being free. And what do I hear from the Canadians? We are a free nation. Are you? I mean, the United States is a free nation. And that's why we keep fighting for the benefits of the Americans, not of the illegal immigrants. You see the differences? I told you guys months ago, the same playbook that they use in Venezuela, they use in Canada, and they're trying to use the same playbook here in the United States for the last couple decades. But there's more of us patriots, even Democrats and Republicans together, that love this country more than they hate Donald Trump. You cannot be in office and run anything right in this country if you're willing to sacrifice the very people that you promised and swore an oath to protect, serve, and defend because you hate one person. The majority of American citizens voted him in office, and when you make fun of him, you make fun of all of us. When we make decisions, we support him. And you know what polls you make? You make polls to Democrats that pretend to be Republicans, and you say Republicans are not with Trump anymore like they used to. Bullcrap. I've never been polled, and I am still a Trump supporter. Am I a Republican Trumpster? No. But he is the only patriot that I know today and age. He's fighting for the American people. He's fighting to protect us. He's fighting to give us more money. He's fighting to keep our jobs alive. He's fighting for manufacturers to come back over here. He's fighting for the world not to take advantage of us. He can go to war with Russia and beat them. We can destroy Russian power. And then we can say, hey, Ukraine, take over this. But that's not how it works. He knows that there's powers that need to be in place. We're not going to waste money on wars, and we're not going to waste people because of our egos. So that's what Donald Trump is. And he says it, and I agree. As a matter of fact, I'm not as patient as he is. I'm glad I'm not the president. I pulled the red button already. Push that red button. I got the codes, baby. No, but on a serious note, he's very patient. He loves this country. It almost brought tears to my eyes when I saw him hug the American flag. Because when I see the American flag, I see all kinds of people. I see white people, I see black people, I see Hispanics, I see migrants from Scotland, from all over the world. Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Russians, Ukrainian, every single country, ethnicity that hate themselves outside in the world. They live in peace here in the United States of America. This is why this is the greatest nation in the world, and this is why they want to come here. And the corrupted politician Democrats that you see today, they only want to fight for illegal immigrants, not because they care about them, but because they're making millions and millions of dollars for themselves. Nancy Pelosi is worth $500 million. I think she's worth more than $500 million now, on a salary of $170,000 a year. Wait, why are we paying $170,000 a year? How much you make? I barely get to 50. Most people don't even make $50,000 a year. So Donald Trump is the only person fighting for us.
Man, where is my hat?
Man, I wish I had my hat in here. I'm telling you guys, I don't do this for show. The only reason why I do live shows is because I get to see some of your questions. Maybe not all of them. And I'm going to tell those very few that support illegal immigrants or that are illegal immigrants. You are special. I mean it. You're very special. And I believe that you deserve a chance. I want you and your family, even if you're illegal, now don't get it twisted, even if you are illegal, I want you and your family to be here. There is millions of people waiting for that green card. They've been waiting for years. But what happened? Something very unfortunate has happened in the last 3 years. 21 million illegal immigrants. And unfortunately, when you look at percentages, out of 21 million illegal immigrants, meaning nobody can say where they come from, how they have lived their lives, what have they done, do they have any criminal records, nobody can check if those kids are really theirs. They do photo ops and they fake all the stories. I know Salvadorians that say they're Mexicans and they're from this part of Mexico. Bullshit. They only go there because they can come right back to the border. Well, we know that stopped. We know they ain't coming back to the border anymore. But what I'm saying is, it's not that we don't love you. Is the problem is somebody broke it. And so now you got to get deported. I laugh and I get pissed off at people that says, like this one incident. This lady, Chicana, and her husband, they're citizens, okay? They're American citizens. The husband slashes the tire of ICE. I don't know if you guys have heard of this story. She grabs her phone because ICE is over there, and my husband's American. He's American. And I'm like, what a damn shame. His ass is going to jail. You just ruptured a federal agent's vehicle's tire. And because you're Chicano, because you're Hispanic descent, all of a sudden that makes it okay, you morons. You become criminals and you become violent and you riot and you destroy. You burn the American flag and you're over here insulting me to get eyes on me, to get me deported, making fun of my clothes because I'm a Honduran birth-born American. How retarded are you? Now, some people don't like you, and I don't like your behavior. But like I said, I believe you deserve a chance. But unfortunately, you can't get that chance because the system was broken by illegal immigrants like yourself. So when I hear a citizen got arrested by ICE, good. When I see ICE agents' cars being broken by bricks and rocks, I'm going to tell you right now, I was an ICE agent, I would have been out there clearing the freaking street. Yeah, the news, they're going to tell you whatever. But I'm telling you, those ICE agents that you hate so much are probably saving your life right now by taking a murderer off the street. I read the story of this old man. He's about 60-something years old. You won't believe what he did. But his family, his kids, so I think they're the kids or just the neighbors. Oh my God, what are you doing to the old man? Why are you so, you should be ashamed of yourself. He raped his own granddaughter when she was 6 months old. Go ahead, defend that. Morons. Man, it ticks me off. Yeah, of course, it wasn't you. It wasn't your kids. Why would you care? God is not okay with that. And those people will pay. Here on earth, there is a law, physical law of the land. There's consequences to breaking the law, to committing crime. That's nothing compared to what God's going to do to you if you die without repenting. I think that's what you got to be worried about. You think life is hard when you get deported? They're being sent back home. They're not going to the pen. They're not going to prison to rot in prison forever. They're getting sent back home. Honduras is beautiful. Is it hard to live? Absolutely. 100%. You cannot be lazy. You got to work your butt off. You got to work your butt off for $1 a day sometimes. But at least you're honest living. Mexico is gorgeous. It's beautiful. I wish I was Mexican sometimes. I would just go, I would go to Manzanillo, Colima. Beautiful town. Beautiful countrysides in Mexico. I'm mad because a lot of people are suffering and I can't stop it. Little girls' innocence gets taken away from them and I can't stop it. I can't make it make sense to people. I would work hard in Mexico if I was in Mexico, sir. And I would defend the borders just as I defend the United States borders. I would love and respect the Mexican people if I was living in Mexico just the way that I do here in America, the American people. I would not be an obstacle or a weight or a burden to the government of Mexico. I will work my butt off and try to provide for my family just as I'm working over here. I think, I know you're trying to be gay about it, but I think a man, a real man, provides for his family. You see, like for me, my purpose is, and I tell my wife, take advantage of me while I'm still alive. Try to learn to save up. So that way when you go back to Samoa, you got your house. You got a place for you and the kids. When we die, we don't take this with us. But we will get judged here and we will get judged up there. Now, everybody's going to go up there, but not everybody's staying up there. There's going to be a lot of deportations from heaven. You don't want to be deported in heaven. You think you don't want to be deported from the United States? You don't want to be deported from heaven. So but you better watch how your mentality takes you to the dark places where you're never going to come out of. Yes, gay guys also provide. Absolutely, 100%. The reason why I say that as a man is because that's what I believe. Now, what's crazy is I don't believe I'm not who I am and I don't do the things that I do because my father taught me. It was because my mother taught me. See, my father died when I was 4 years old. So, yes, immigrants do provide. But I will argue that when illegal immigrants pay bills or taxes here in the United States, the last number that I heard was $100,000 that they pay, $100 billion in taxes. And people say, wow, they really help. Well, guess what? If you pay taxes, you also claim taxes. And if you have big families, those big families get big tax returns because the rich people are paying a lot more taxes than we all pay combined. And those illegal immigrants did not pay $100 billion in the end. They actually turned out to be negative 300 something billion dollars in negative revenue for the United States of America. You see, most immigrants, there's some that make a living here in a house and they stay here and they buy, so they pay sales taxes, gas, etc., right? They help the economy. But most of the illegal immigrants send their money back to their country, which helps their economy, not ours. It's an example that I was giving you about housing. There's 10 people in one apartment where there should be no more than 3 people. 10 people live in there. It makes apartments be full, it makes demand very high, and it makes prices go very high. You see, illegal people, the reason why you guys have no respect is because you're selfish. You're thinking only about what you want and what you need, but you don't care who else has to pay for your insolence, for your disrespect, for your breaking the law. You know, it's crazy. I'm always strapping. I go to a restaurant, I go to the grocery store, everywhere I go, I always have my gun with me. And I'm going to tell you, and this is not to be prejudiced or racist or hateful, but there was this cholo at this restaurant that he kept getting mad, like he giving me these mad looks, like I was doing something wrong. And the reason why I noticed him is because I was looking for the waiter that was behind him, and I was waiting so I can call the waiter. And no worries, Omar, I appreciate it. And man, but he was mean mugging me, and I was pretending like I wasn't seeing him, right? And when I stood up to leave, right, I turned a little bit, pretending that I'm checking to see if I forgot something, because when I do that, my gun shows. You know what happens? He was about halfway to stand up, and when I looked back really quick, he saw my gun and sat right back down. I'm not saying I'm a badass, no. But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of bad people out there already as it is. And people that are willing to break the law to come here illegally without respect for any other people, that are willing to commit fraud so that they can ruin other people's credit reports. Like there was one person that ruined my credit for a long time, and it took forever for me to be able to open a bank account after I proved that I was me and nobody else was me. There is a Dennis Herrera with my social security number, with my ID, except with their face on it, and it's not me. I will assume that it's an illegal immigrant because they had to speak Spanish if they're going to be called Dennis Herrera, right? So there you go. So I knew that I was going to talk about illegal immigrants. You guys do a great job. Yeah, well, I don't know if he was a citizen. I always assume that every Hispanic here is legal, to be honest. I call them Chicanos, which means that they're from a foreign country, specifically Mexico, I guess, and they're born in the States. That's a Chicano. Let's see, I speak for my people, patrons and ancestors. Sorry if it bothers you, but my people and many others are fed up about this. Always remember freedom of speech. I repeat, everyone. 100%. I am with you. I know a lot of Chicanos that believe and feel the way that I do. You know, it's a thing that it doesn't matter if you're being positive, if you're being respectful, even if you're loving somebody. If they just have an evil grudge in them, there's nothing that you're going to be able to say to them. You won't be able to change their mind. So let's see, zero factor. Exactly, you are a zero factor. Patrick, you can only ever speak for yourself unless you won an election. Marco, go ahead, give me some information. This is your chance to go ahead and change my mind. This is your chance to tell me what I'm missing. I want to learn, and I really honestly mean that. I want you to tell me what is it that I am misinformed on. But you better hurry because my headphones are about to die, and I'm running out of time. Yeah, I'm almost out of time. I'll give you 2 more minutes. Zero. It's the way that I'm reading it, bro. I think I know what you meant. I don't meant you as a. I'm sorry, Zero. My bad. My bad. Samurai, are you trying to sing the song or what? Because I can hear the beat in the back of my mind right now. Ice, ice, baby. P. Diddy, man. Are you still getting that oil? Yeah, Tracy. So that is one of the points, right? That we have law-abiding citizens, and we also have criminals. We already have that in this country. We don't need any more. Des, I am in Washington State. It is a beautiful state. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to share this, and I really mean this. I can have hundreds, hundreds, if not thousands, of people talk shit about me and try to make me feel bad and be negative and all this stuff. But there's that one person that you meet, and it changes your whole mentality. This is why I'm still in Washington State. There is still a lot of great people here in Washington State, and I hope that that is the case in your towns, in your states, in your countries. I really hope that that is there. Um, about the bill they're trying to pass. Um, is that the sales tax from King County? Because that bill already passed. I know there was I don't know if that's the bill, but there's another bill that they're trying to raise more taxes with. Uh, I heard it was on the, what was it? I think the tax that they raised right now in King County was about up to $160 million in sales tax. Let me take a look. Let me see. Let me look it up real quick. I got just a couple more minutes. What is it? 495? Yeah, 495. Oh, it's because it's in California. That's why I don't know it. We have some bills that are written that way. Okay. Okay. So from what I read, it says, okay, let's read it together and let's see how we can interpret it. Okay. Now, obviously, it's not going to give us everything, and I don't have time to read the whole thing. Uh, here's a big problem that I have. I don't think in English. I can only think in Spanish. So when I speak English, every single word that you hear me speak to you, I'm thinking it in Spanish and I'm translating to English. So in order for me to understand or decipher, as I like to say, when I read a document, I have to read it over and over. I'm not sure if my headphones are dead already. Let me know if you can still hear. Let's read this really quick. AB 495, also known as the Family Preparedness Plan Act of 2025, is a California bill that would expand the definition of who can execute a caregiver's authorization affidavit to include a non-relative extended family member. This expanded definition will grant these individuals the same rights to authorize school-related medical care for a minor as other authorized individuals. The bill is designed to address situations where a minor is primarily cared or by someone outside of their immediate family but within their extended network. What I understand by that is that, number one, I believe that I will have to give authorization for that one particular person that is going to take care of my son, and if I can authorize that person to be what do you call that, power of attorney, so to speak. That's what I understand from it. I'm sure there's probably more than that, but I don't think it's kind of like what they're doing here in Seattle, to where they try to pass a law that would allow the school to teach my kids what I don't want them to be taught. And you know what I'm talking about. It's not about math, lecture, history, or anything like that. Thank you, Joshi. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. God bless you. The support that I feel from you guys, I know it's just a couple of subscribers on my channel, but I love the interaction that we got, even though I get negative people on here. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate you. Oh, wait. Are you guys subscribing to each other? Oh, man, I thought you guys were subscribing to my channel. Nonetheless, thank you for being in here today. I really appreciate it. Uh, it's good to have information. Again, the purpose of the channel, right, is to 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 talk with each other, figure out what different opinions we have and how we can make our country better. I know there will always be illegal trolls. I know there's always going to be, debates and disagreements. But I got to tell you, it's not a partisan thing. If you're a proud Republican, hey, God bless you. More power to you. If you're a proud, Democrat, God bless you. More power to you. But remember what's important. What's important is not being a loyalist to a party. Thank you, Joshi. I appreciate it. I know Omar is a subscriber too. He puts comments on my videos, and I appreciate that support. I also want you guys to post questions. I'll do some research, and then maybe you guys can give me your opinion on what you found, and I'll give you the same. This is why I got my laptop with me. I come into my car. My wife has come out here like 5 times trying to tell me to hurry up. I gotta go eat. I gotta take my daughter to go swimming. So I'm gonna go do that. But it was really important for me to talk about this homelessness, drug addictions, a little bit of Gaza because somebody brought it up. And unfortunately, I have to always talk about illegal immigration because it all has to do with everything. Everything is connected. And as I was telling you, Yoshi, that there's a lot of religious people that, they like to preach, but they don't know how to respect people's boundaries. Just like, the example that I gave, right? When Jesus turned around from the town, he left sad because people didn't want to hear the message. And he didn't make that many miracles, but nonetheless, he went there because he felt that at least the people needed to hear the message. So if you ever encounter somebody preaching, and it's one of those pride things, if you're there, being gay, maybe you have a little bit more pull. Just tell them, hey, this is a freedom of speech. Let them talk. This is how they feel like they are fulfilling their destiny, so to speak. So with that being said, Tracy, Yoshi, Jocelyn, all of you guys that have come in here, especially you, Omar, your comments are very much well appreciated. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching this live. I will try to do a little bit more often. It's just like you see, I'm always trying to balance my personal life with work and then also with the channel. And the reason why we created this channel is so that we can debate back and forth, talk. I love interacting with every single one of you guys, even the bad comments. I think it's okay to show frustration, but I will end with this. I love my American people. I really do. I love this nation. My mother loved this nation. My family loves this nation. And as much as I love Honduras, my time is here in the United States. And I invite every single one of you that are listening to come and visit the Honduran Bay Islands. It is just such a treat, such a beautiful paradise. If you go into the mainland, there's a third world country, so expect that. But it's a beautiful, beautiful country. The mountains are spectacular. The trees that you don't see here in the United States, they're all there. There's some rivers, there's some water holes. There's a lot of beaches. There's a lot of places that you can visit over there. And as a tourist, you'll probably like it a lot. I will recommend a guide, or just shoot me up a message. I'll hook you up with a friend or somebody that can take you somewhere. But I recommend you guys visiting the Bay Islands of Honduras. You will never regret it. And with that being said, I respect and love every single one of you guys, even those people that are hating me for the illegal immigration thing. I think that, that it's important that we all don't forget our humanity, that we are to respect and love each other. If you can't love other people, it's all right. At least respect them, because with respect, we can still work together. We can still have our opinions, and we can make this country a better country. 2 things for you that are here illegally. Hopefully in the time that you are here, you save enough money in case you get deported. If you don't get deported and you get papers, hopefully you become to love this country and you become to respect every single American people that are in this great nation, and that hopefully you grow to be a great patriot to this great nation that provides not just for itself but to the world. We have a president that has been mocked. We were dead to the world, but now we got President Donald Trump. We're getting respect back. We got people that talk shit about him from the UN. They're talking nice about him. They made them their leader. Donald Trump has made Americans great again, and that's a good thing. Let me finish this. I mentioned this on one of my videos, but there was an African man that said that white supremacist was not invented by white people. It was invented by Africans. When the white men, the colonizers, came over, they were astonished at their evolved technology, and because of that, they call them white supremacists. Well, I'm going to tell you something. You are in a great nation where white, brown, yellow, oh my God, that's so racist. I should have never mentioned colors. Where all ethnicities, all country nationalities come here, all migrants come here to be one nation. And that is one supreme nation. So there's no one supreme race, but we are one supreme country. And as thus, we have a responsibility to respect each other, to make this country more prosperous than it's ever been, so that we can still help other countries around us. Guys, until next time, thank you so much for tuning into my life. I gotta go spend time with my daughter. God bless you and God bless the USA. Peace out.